Hi everyone, in this video I will be showing you how to crochet this elf plushie. For this project I used Bernat blanket. It's a super bulky yarn. I used green, yellow, this beige color for the skin, red, a little bit of black for his mouth, but you can use like a worsted weight yarn if you wanted to, and some brown for his hair. Also, I used 16mm safety eyes, polyfill or stuffing, a 6.5mm crochet hook, a tapestry needle, and scissors. To begin, we're going to start with our green yarn and make a magic ring. Chain 1, and we're going to make 8 single crochets into the ring. Once you have 8 stitches in your ring, go ahead and pull your tail end tight to close up the ring and join to the very first stitch. And there's round 1. For round 2, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to make 2 single crochets in each stitch around, starting in that first stitch. So for round 1 we had 8 stitches, and for round 2 we should end up with 16 stitches by the time we get to the beginning. Here I am at the end of round 2. I'm going to join to that very first stitch, the first single crochet in the round. We aren't counting the chain 1 as a stitch. And for round 3, chain 1, and we are going to increase every other stitch. So the first stitch we'll do a single crochet, and then in the next stitch 2 single crochets, which will be our increase. And we're going to follow that pattern all the way around. 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochets for our increase. And for round 3 we should end up with a total of 24 stitches. Here I am at the end. I ended with 2 single crochets in that last stitch. I'm going to join to my first single crochet of the round, and that completes round 3. For round 4, chain up 1, and we are going to increase after every 2 stitches. So make a single crochet in the first stitch, a single crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets for that increase. So the pattern for round 4 is single crochet, 2 single crochets. And at the end of round 4, you should have a total of 32 stitches. And this will be our last round of increases. Here I am at the end of round 4. I ended with an increase, and I'm going to join to my first single crochet of the round. And now for rounds 5 through 10, we're just going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So starting with a chain 1, and just making 1 single crochet in each stitch around. For rounds 5 through 10, we'll end up with 32 stitches in each of these rounds. So go ahead and do rounds 5 through 10. That's a total of 6 rows. And I will meet you back here when I complete round 10. Here I just finished round 10. This is what the body should be looking like. And now we are going to start a decrease row. So we are going to decrease after every 2 stitches. So in the first stitch, we're going to make a single crochet. In the second stitch, a single crochet. And then we are going to do an invisible decrease. So basically we're just going to work in the front loops only. We're going to insert our hook into the front loop only of that first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, insert our hook into the front loop of the second stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. We'll have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. And that is 1 invisible decrease. So again, in round 11, we are decreasing after every 2 stitches. So 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and then invisible decrease. And we're going to do this all the way around for round 11, and once we get to the end we should have a total of 24 stitches. At the end of round 11, go ahead and join to that first single crochet of the round, chain 1, And then for round 12, we're going to decrease after every other stitch. So first we'll make a single crochet, and then we'll do a decrease, single crochet, and then decrease. So follow that all the way around for round 12, and at the end of round 12 we'll have 16 stitches. Here I am at the end of round 12, and before going on to round 13 we are going to make buttons and also stuff the body. So I'm going to make the buttons the opposite side of the seam back here, so the buttons will be in the front, and I'm using yellow yarn and a tapestry needle, and we're going to do some French knots. So the buttons will be on rows 6 and 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, I want to make sure it's opposite from the seam, so about here. I'm going to take my yarn needle and come in from behind. And then to make a French knot, I'm just going to put my needle under one of the loops, and I'm going to take the yarn and wrap it around 3 times. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to hold that, pull the needle through. That's going to create a knot, just like that, and I'm just going to go back down the way I came, and that makes a button. So that was row 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I'm going to make another one up here. Same thing, I'm just going to take a loop, put my needle under it, and I'm going to wrap the yarn around 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Hold the loops and then pull the needle through to create the knot. Pull it tight, go back in, and there's the buttons. And I'm just going to tie the tails, and then they're just going to stay in there with the stuffing. So I'm just going to stuff the body with some polyfill. I already made sure there's no dense clumps, lumps, or anything like that, so I can stuff it more evenly than if there were like dense clumps in the stuffing. So I'm gonna stuff it just like that, and we'll be able to stuff it as we go. So that's enough for now. And then for round 13, chain up 1, and we're going to decrease all the way around. So invisible decrease over the first 2 stitches, over the next 2 stitches, and we're just going to keep decreasing all the way around. And then for round 13 we should end up with just 8 stitches. Once you get to the end of round 13, join to that very first single crochet, or that first decrease, and we are going to change to red. So I'm just going to pull my red through, pull my green tail tight, and then I'm going to just knot the 2 tails together and stuff it into the body. And then with the red for round 14, chain up 1, and we're going to make 2 single crochets in each stitch around. And then for round 14 we will have a total of 16 stitches. Once we're at the end of round 14, join to the first single crochet of the round, and we are going to switch colors again. So I'm going to clip the red and join my beige color yarn. And then for round 15, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to chain 1, and we are going to make 2 single crochets in each stitch around. And then for round 15, we should have a total of 32 stitches. Here I am at the end of round 15. I'm going to join to that very first single crochet of the round. And then for rounds 16 and 17, we're just going to do 1 stitch all the way around, and that will give us 32 stitches for each round. So I will meet you back here when I complete round 17. Here I am at the end of round 17, and for round 18 we're going to chain 1, and we are going to single crochet into the next 16 stitches. And then once you have your 16 single crochets done, I will meet you back here. So once you have your 16 single crochets done in round 18, you should be at the point where you're at the buttons, because we are going to make a bobble stitch for the nose, and you want that to line up more or less with the buttons. So if you need to add another single crochet or just go back a few depending where you are, but it should be around 16 stitches, and then the next stitch will line up with the buttons. So for a bobble stitch, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. You should have 2 loops on your hook, and we're going to do that 3 more times. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That was 2 times. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That was 3 times. You should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, insert your hook, again same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 5, and that makes a bobble stitch. And then go ahead and single crochet into that next space, and the bobble might pop through the back. You just want to pop it to the front, and that's going to be his nose. And we are just going to single crochet the rest of the way for round 18, and we should have 32 stitches. So at the end of round 18, join to your first single crochet, chain 1, and for rows 19 through 22, we're just going to make 1 single crochet all the way around, and rounds 19 through 22 is a total of 4 rounds. Each round should have 32 stitches. So go ahead and complete rounds 19 through 22, and I will meet you back here once I complete round 22. Here I am at the end of round 22. I joined to my first stitch and I cut my yarn because we will be changing colors, but first we are going to make the face. So I am using 16mm safety eyes. I have these glitter eyes linked below, and we will be putting the eyes between rows 20 and 21. So the last row we did was 22. So we're gonna put them between 20 and 21, right near the nose, like that. And then for the mouth, I just have a little bit of black and a tapestry needle, and we're just gonna make a little smile down here. So I'm 1 row up from the red here, and then I'm just going to make a little bit of a diagonal for his mouth. That's it. And then I'm going to tie it, put it on the inside, and change to my next color. So the next color is going to be brown for his hair. So I'm going to pull that through, tie the ends, and we are on round 23. We're going to chain 1 and we are going to decrease every 2 stitches. So the first 2 stitches are just going to be single crochet, and then an invisible decrease. So once we follow that all the way around, single crochet, invisible decrease, we will have a total of 24 stitches for round 23. Once we're at the end of round 23, join to the first single crochet of the round, and for round 24 we're going to chain 1 and we are going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and that's going to give us 24 stitches for round 24. Here I am at the end of round 24. I'm going to join to my first single crochet of the round, chain 1, and for round 25 we are going to decrease every other stitch. So the first stitch is going to be a single crochet, and then we will do an invisible decrease, single crochet, and then invisible decrease. In this round 25 we'll have a total of 16 stitches, and after this row we will stuff with polyfill and then we'll have 1 more decrease row. I just finished round 25. I joined to that very first single crochet and now I'm just going to stuff the head, and make sure to stuff the neck part right here really well, because once we make the hat and he's wearing the hat, his head will tend to be very wobbly. So just make sure that you stuff this section very well so his head doesn't get too wobbly. And once his neck and his head is stuffed, we just have 1 more round to go. So we're going to chain 1 and we are just going to decrease all the way around, and this is round 26. We're just going to decrease all the way around, and at the end of round 26 we should have 8 stitches. Here I am joining at the end of round 26. I'm going to fasten off, leave a long tail so I can sew the top closed, and I'm going to use a tapestry needle and just go through the front loops of all the stitches. I'm going to pull it tight. Make a knot. And that is it for the body and the head. Next, we're going to make the hat and arms. So I'm going to insert the clip here that I did for the Santa hat and the arms. It is the exact same thing. We're just using different colors for the elf. So the first row, the brim will be red, the body will be green, and then the little pom-pom will be yellow. And then same with the arms. The arms are the same exact thing. We're just using green for the last 2 rows, and then for the first 2 rows we'll still use the beige like in the video. So again, the next clips are going to be different colors because it's from the Santa plushie, but it is the same exact pattern, just different colors. And then once you have the hat and the arms done, we will come back and do the ears. For the hat, we're going to start with white. So we're going to start with the brim and then go up. We are going to make a slip knot and chain 30. Once you have your chain of 30, go ahead and join to the very first chains to make a loop. So make sure that the chain isn't twisted before you join. So I'm just going to insert my hook into that first chain, yarn over and pull through both loops. And now I have this big loop. I'm going to chain 1. And I'm going to make 1 half double crochet in each chain, including the chain where we joined. So just 1 half double crochet in each chain around, and when we get to the beginning we should have 30 half double crochets. Here I am back at the beginning. I have 30 half double crochets around, and I'm going to join to my first stitch that I made. So my first half double crochet. And then here I'm going to switch colors. We're going to change colors to red. So I'm going to loop through my red, pull my white tail tight, and then just knot the ends together once, and then we'll weave in those ends later. So now I have my red on here. I'm going to chain 1, and for the next 2 rounds we are just going to half double crochet in each stitch around, and this will give us 30 stitches in each round. So for the next 2 rounds, go ahead and half double crochet all the way around. Okay, so here I got my 2 rows finished, and I'm going to join to my first stitch. And for this next row, we're going to start decreases, and then basically every other row we're going to decrease. So chain 1, and we're going to make half double crochets into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to decrease over the next 2 stitches. So again, we're doing invisible decreases, working in the front loops only, and we're going to do the half double crochet decrease by yarning over first. Insert your hook into that first stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook into the second stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You should have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 5, and that is 1 invisible decrease with the half double crochets. So again, we're doing half double crochet, half double crochet, half double crochet, decrease. So 3 half double crochets and then decrease. So go ahead and follow that pattern all the way around. 3 half double crochets and then a decrease. Again, yarn over, insert your hook into that first stitch, just the front loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook into the second stitch, front loop only, pull up a loop, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 5. So go ahead and complete this 4th round. So here I am at the end of the round. If you're following my written pattern, this is technically the end of round 5 because I counted just the chain loop as round 1, but this is 1, 2, 3, 4 rows that you see here. So at the end of this round, I ended with a decrease, and you should have a total of 24 stitches. Go ahead and join to the first stitch of the round, chain 1, and then in this round we're just going to half double crochet all the way around, 1 in each stitch, and we should end up with 24 stitches. Okay, here I am at the end of the round. In the written pattern we are at the end of round 6, but visually you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Join to the first stitch, chain 1, and we are going to decrease again. So for the first 2 stitches, we're just going to do half double crochets, half double crochet, half double crochet, and then we're going to do a decrease. And then half double crochet, half double crochet, and then decrease. So 2 half double crochets, then a decrease. Follow this pattern all the way around, and at the end of the round you should have 18 stitches. Here I am at the end of the round. Again, if you're following the pattern, this will be the end of round 7. And I ended with a decrease, join to the first stitch, chain 1, And in this next round, we're just doing half double crochets all the way around. We should have 18 stitches once we get to the end. Here I am at the end. I already joined and I chained 1. And in this next round, we are going to do decreases in every other stitch. So the first stitch, we'll start with a half double crochet, and then we'll do a decrease over the next 2 stitches and repeat. So half double crochet and then decrease. And at the end of this round, you should end up with 12 stitches. Okay, here I am at the end. I already joined. If you're following the written pattern, that was the end of round 9. For the next round, chain 1 and just do 1 half double crochet in each stitch around. And in this round, we will have 12 stitches, and then the next round will be our last round of decreases. There was my last round. It's getting smaller. Chain 1, and this is the last round for the hat portion, and we're just going to do decreases all the way around, and you will end up with 6 stitches in this last round. Here I am at the end. I'm going to join to that first stitch, fasten off, and I'm going to leave a long tail because I need to sew the top closed. So I'm going to take my tapestry needle. So in the front loops, we're just going to pull our needle through until we get all the way around. And then pull it tight. I'm going to go under, make a knot. Just like that, and then we're actually going to fold it over. So because how thick this fabric is, it doesn't naturally drape over, so we are going to fold it over and sew it into place just so it has that droopy hat effect. And I'm going to be mindful that these ends are in the back, so this is the back seam, this is going to be at the back of his head, and I want his hat to be folded over to the left, or you can do to the right. So I'm gonna fold it over just like that, 1, 2, 3, at this between the 3rd and 4th row that you see, and then I'm just going to go through the tip and then into the hat. And that's literally all I'm gonna do. Is just gonna anchor it there, and I'm gonna make a knot on the inside. I'm just gonna make it tight so it stays like that. And then I'm gonna weave all these ends in, and then next we will crochet the little pom-pom to attach here. For the pom-pom of the hat, we're gonna use white. We're gonna start with a magic ring. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to make 5 single crochets into the ring. Once we have 5 single crochets, we're just going to pull this tail end tight and join to the first stitch, chain 1, and then in the second round we're going to do 2 single crochets in each round. So at the end of round 2, we should have 10 single crochets. Once you have round 2 finished, join to the first single crochet of the round, and it's going to curl up a little bit, so we want it this way. Chain 1, and this is our last round. We're just going to decrease all the way around, and we're going to decrease in the front loops only to do those invisible decreases. So then in this 3rd and final round, we will have just 5 single crochets. Once you have all your decreases done, join to the first stitch of the round, fasten off, and leave a tail to sew the top closed and to sew it onto the hat. We'll just put this end on the inside. We don't need to stuff it because it's very small. We're going to use our tapestry needle, and we're just going to go through the front loops of each stitch around to close it up. We're going to pull it tight, and I'm going to make a knot just like that. So there we have our little pom-pom, and I'm going to sew it right to the tip of the hat. Just like that, and then I'm going to have it go through here, make a knot. You can go back and forth a few times if you think you need to. And that's it for the hat. For the arms, we're going to start with the beige color or whatever skin color you're using for your Santa. We're going to start with a magic ring, chain 1, and we're going to make 5 single crochets into the ring. Pull the magic ring tight and join to the first single crochet, chain 1, and we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So we should only be left with 5 stitches. 3, 4, and 5. And you're going to see this big gap here, but that's not a stitch. It's just the slip stitch from the previous round. So here's our first stitch that we want to join to. And then we are going to change colors. We're going to add red. So I looped my red through, pull my tail tight. I'm going to tie the tails together, chain 1, and then I'm going to stuff that in to the arm. And again, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and that will give us 5 stitches. 3, 4, 5, and then here is our first stitch over here we're going to join to. It's a little finicky just because it's such a small round that we're doing. Chain 1, and then we're going to do 1 more round, just 1 single crochet around. So there we went all the way around, join to the first stitch, fasten off, and leave a tail because we will be sewing this onto the body. And I didn't stuff the arms just because they're so small. I just stuffed the tail ends in. So there's one arm and you want to make 2 arms for the Santa. So once you have your tapestry needle threaded, I kind of pinch it so it's in half, and then I place it where I want it to go. So I know I want it here, so it's centered and to the side. So it's first gonna go through here. And then I'll run my needle through the arm. And then through the body, the other way. And then through the arm. I don't have the best technique at sewing, so if you have your own method of sewing limbs on, go ahead and do that. I just try my best to get everything where I want it to be and secured. So that looks good. I'm just gonna pass through once. You can pass through a couple times if you feel like you need to. And then I'm gonna go back here so I can make a knot in the back. And then just run my needle through the body. Trim it. And then that's it. All you want to do is, with your other arm, of course, sew it onto the other side and get it as even as possible. Once you have your arms and your hat finished, we need to do the ears. For the ears, we're going to use our beige color. Start with a magic ring, chain 1, and we are going to make 6 single crochets in the ring. 4, 5, 6. Once you have 6 stitches in your ring, go ahead and pull the tail end tight. We're going to join to the very first single crochet. We're going to chain 2. We're going to make a double crochet, chain 2 again, and in that next stitch we are going to make a slip stitch, and then we are going to fasten off and leave a tail. So that is it for the ears. You just want to make 2. So here is the pointy part where we did our chain 2, double crochet, chain 2. That's the pointy part of the ear. And then down here is like the earlobe part, and we are going to sew just the earlobe part on, so then this little pointy part can stick out. So we're gonna sew the ear right around rows 19 and 20, and that's about where the nose is here. So we're gonna sew it right here on the side. So again, we're doing around rows 19 to 20, which is right about where the nose is on the side. And we're just sewing down the like circle part. So I'm gonna go through the head first and make sure the pointy part is sticking up. And again, we're just sewing in the very bottom part, so then this part can peek over the hat. And I'll show you in just a second how that looks. So that is how the ear should look. Go ahead and sew on both your ears, make it as even as possible. And then once you have both of your ears on, when you add the hat, your ears should be able to go over the hat just a little bit like that. And you can either sew on the hat like in a couple different places, like here, here, and here, so it doesn't fall off, or you can honestly just use fabric glue or like a hot glue gun so the hat stays on, because it does tend to pop off. And that is it. That is how you crochet this elf plushie. I hope you enjoyed making this project. I hope you learned something new today, and if you enjoy crochet tutorials, be sure to subscribe to my channel.